in the heart of the bustling metropolis of Nocturne City, where the skyscrapers reached for the moon and the neon lights painted the streets in hues of crimson and violet, there lay a forgotten alleyway, hidden from the prying eyes of the living. It was here, amidst the shadows and the whispers of the night, that an ancient crypt lay buried beneath layers of concrete and decay. The crypt was a relic of a forgotten age, its stone walls etched with runes of power and protection, and within its depths dwelled the vampire lord known only as Lord Mordecai, a figure of dread and darkness feared by both mortal and immortal alike. Lord Mordecai had ruled over Nocturne City for centuries, his thirst for power matched only by his insatiable hunger for blood. From the shadows, he pulled the strings of the city's underworld, his influence stretching like tendrils of darkness through every corner of Nocturne City. But there were whispers among the vampires of a prophecy, spoken of in hushed tones and ancient texts. It spoke of a chosen one, a mortal who possessed the power to destroy Lord Mordecai and bring an end to his reign of terror. And as the shadows deepened and the night grew ever darker, the wheels of fate began to turn, setting into motion a chain of events that would shake the very foundations of Nocturne City. In the heart of the bustling metropolis of Nocturne City, where the skyscrapers reached for the moon and the neon lights painted the streets in hues of crimson and violet, there lay a forgotten alleyway, hidden from the prying eyes of the living. It was here, amidst the shadows and the whispers of the night, that an ancient crypt lay buried beneath layers of concrete and decay. The crypt was a relic of a forgotten age, its stone walls etched with runes of power and protection, and within its depths dwelled the vampire lord known only as Lord Mordecai, a figure of dread and darkness feared by both mortal and immortal alike. Lord Mordecai had ruled over Nocturne City for centuries, his thirst for power matched only by his insatiable hunger for blood. From the shadows, he pulled the strings of the city's underworld, his influence stretching like tendrils of darkness through every corner of Nocturne City. But there were whispers among the vampires of a prophecy, spoken of in hushed tones and ancient texts. It spoke of a chosen one, a mortal who possessed the power to destroy Lord Mordecai and bring an end to his reign of terror. As the city slept, oblivious to the dangers that lurked in the darkness, a young woman named Elena found herself drawn into a world she never knew existed. Haunted by strange dreams and visions of blood-soaked streets, she stumbled upon the hidden alleyway and the crypt that lay within. Unbeknownst to her, Elena was the key to unlocking the prophecy and defeating Lord Mordecai once and for all. But as she delved deeper into the secrets of Nocturne City, she attracted the attention of both the vampires who sought to protect her and those who sought to use her for their own nefarious purposes. Caught in a deadly game of cat and mouse, Elena must navigate the treacherous streets of Nocturne City, uncovering ancient truths and confronting long-buried secrets. But with Lord Mordecai growing ever more powerful and the forces of darkness closing in around her, she must tread carefully, for one wrong move could mean the end of everything she holds dear. As the night stretches on and the shadows deepen, the fate of Nocturne City hangs in the balance, and only time will tell whether Elena holds the key to its salvation or its ultimate destruction. As the moon cast its silvery glow over the rooftops of Nocturne City, Elena's dreams grew ever more troubled. Visions of dark figures lurking in the shadows haunted her nights, while whispers of ancient prophecies echoed in her mind. She knew that she was being drawn inexorably into a world of danger and intrigue, but she could not resist the pull. During the day, Nocturne City bustled with life, its streets teeming with people going about their business. But as night fell, a different kind of energy suffused the air, a sense of foreboding that sent shivers down Elena's spine. Determined to uncover the truth behind the crypt and the secrets it held, Elena embarked on a journey that would lead her deep into the heart of darkness. With each step she took, she felt the weight of destiny pressing down upon her, guiding her toward a confrontation that would change the course of Nocturne City forever. But as Elena delved deeper into the mysteries of the city, she found herself ensnared in a web of deceit and betrayal. Dark forces conspired against her, their intentions shrouded in shadow and secrecy. And at the center of it all stood Lord Mordecai, his malevolent presence casting a pall over Nocturne City. Yet amidst the chaos and the danger, Elena discovered allies in unexpected places. A group of renegade vampires, led by a mysterious figure known only as the Raven, pledged their loyalty to her cause, promising to aid her in the fight against Lord Mordecai and his minions. But even as Elena rallied her forces and prepared for the inevitable showdown, She could not shake the feeling that there was more to the prophecy than met the eye. Dark omens whispered of a betrayal from within, of a traitor lurking in their midst who would stop at nothing to see Nocturne City fall. As the tension mounted and the stakes grew ever higher, Elena knew that the time had come to confront her destiny head-on. With the fate of Nocturne City hanging in the balance, she steeled herself for the final battle against Lord Mordecai and the forces of darkness that threatened to consume them all. And as the clock struck midnight and the moon reached its zenith, the stage was set for a showdown that would determine the future of Nocturne City and the fate of all who dwelled within its shadowy streets. As the night deepened and the shadows thickened, Elena found herself standing at the threshold of the crypt, her heart pounding in her chest. The ancient stone walls loomed before her, their carvings worn with age and mystery. With a deep breath, she pushed open the heavy door and stepped into the darkness beyond. The air inside the crypt was heavy with the scent of earth and decay, and the sound of her footsteps echoed off the walls, filling the chamber with an eerie resonance. As she made her way deeper into the depths of the crypt, Elena's senses were assailed by a cacophony of whispers, voices from the past, speaking words she could not understand. With each step, the air grew colder, and the darkness seemed to press in around her, threatening to swallow her whole. But Elena pressed on, driven by a sense of purpose that burned like a flame within her soul. Finally, she reached the heart of the crypt, a chamber bathed in a faint, ethereal light that seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. In the center of the chamber stood a stone sarcophagus, its surface carved with intricate symbols and glyphs. With trembling hands, Elena reached out and pushed open the lid of the sarcophagus, revealing what lay within. To her astonishment, she found not a vampire lord or a creature of the night, but a simple wooden box, its contents hidden from view. With a sense of trepidation, Elena lifted the lid of the box and peered inside. What she saw took her breath away, a shimmering orb of purest crystal, glowing with an inner light that seemed to pulse with life. But before Elena could react, a voice rang out from the darkness, a voice she recognized all too well. "Ah, Elena," said Lord Mordecai, his voice dripping with malice. "I see you have found my little secret, but you are too late, my dear. The power of the crystal is mine to command, and soon, all of Nocturne City will bow before me." Elena's heart raced as she realized the true nature of the prophecy. The crystal was the key to Lord Mordecai's power, and she was the only one who could stop him. But as she reached out to seize the crystal, she felt a sudden, searing pain shoot through her body, and darkness closed in around her. When she awoke, Elena found herself bound in chains, her hands shackled and her fate uncertain. And as Lord Mordecai loomed over her, a cruel smile playing at the corners of his lips, she knew that the battle for Nocturne City was far from over. Elena's heart raced as she struggled against the chains that bound her mind racing with fear and uncertainty. Lord Mordecai's laughter echoed through the chamber, sending shivers down her spine. "You thought you could defy me, mortal," he sneered, his eyes glinting with malevolent delight. "You are nothing but a pawn in my game, a mere distraction to keep my enemies at bay." But even as Lord Mordecai taunted her, Elena refused to give in to despair. She knew that she held the key to defeating him, the crystal, hidden somewhere within the depths of the crypt. If only she could find a way to break free from her chains. As if sensing her thoughts, Lord Mordecai drew closer, his gaze filled with a hunger that chilled her to the bone. "You are stronger than you realize, Elena," he murmured, his voice soft and seductive. "Join me, and together we can rule over Nocturne City as king and queen of the night." But Elena shook her head defiantly, her resolve unshaken. "I will never join you, Mordecai," she spat, her voice trembling with fury. "You may have the power to enslave others, but you will never control me." With a snarl of rage, Lord Mordecai raised his hand, summoning tendrils of dark energy to bind Elena even tighter. But just as he was about to strike, a voice rang out from the shadows, a voice that sent a surge of hope coursing through Elena's veins. "Release her, Mordecai," said the voice, cold and commanding. "She belongs to me." With a start, Lord Mordecai turned to face the newcomer, a figure cloaked in darkness, his features obscured by the folds of his hooded cloak. Elena's heart skipped a beat as she recognized the voice. It was the Raven, leader of the renegade vampires who had pledged their loyalty to her cause. For a moment, silence hung heavy in the air, broken only by the crackle of energy and the sound of Elena's labored breathing. Then, with a growl of frustration, Lord Mordecai released his hold on Elena, allowing her to slump to the ground in exhaustion. "Well, "Well," he sneered, his lip curling in a snarl, "it seems the little mortal has found herself a protector. How quaint." But the raven remained unmoved, his gaze fixed on Lord Mordecai with a steely resolve. "Leave her be, Mordecai," he said, his voice low and dangerous, "or face the consequences." With a scornful laugh, Lord Mordecai turned on his heel and vanished into the darkness, leaving Elena and the raven alone in the chamber. And as the echoes of his laughter faded into the night, Elena knew that the battle for Nocturne City was far from over. With Lord Mordecai's departure, a heavy silence settled over the crypt, broken only by the soft sound of Elena's ragged breaths and the faint fluttering of bat wings in the distance. The raven stepped forward, his presence a comforting anchor in the midst of chaos. "Are you all right?" he asked, his voice a low rumble that seemed to reverberate through the chamber. Elena nodded, though her limbs still trembled with adrenaline. "Am fine," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "Thank you for saving me." The raven inclined his head in acknowledgement, his eyes gleaming in the dim light. "It is my duty to protect you," he said, his tone grave. "You are the key to defeating Lord Mordecai and bringing an end to his reign of terror." Elena's heart swelled with a mixture of fear and determination. She knew that the task ahead would not be easy, but she also knew that she could not afford to fail. Nocturne City depended on her, and she would do whatever it took to ensure its survival. But as she glanced around the chamber, her eyes fell upon the empty sarcophagus where the crystal had once lain. Panic seized her heart as she realized that Lord Mordecai had taken it, leaving them powerless to stop him. "We need to find the crystal," she said, her voice urgent. "Without it, we have no chance of defeating Lord Mordecai." The raven nodded in agreement, his expression grim. "Agreed," he said, "but finding it will not be easy. Lord Mordecai is cunning, and he will do everything in his power to keep it out of our hands." Elena clenched her fists, her resolve hardening. "Then we will outsmart him," she said, her voice steely. "We will scour every corner of Nocturne City until we find the crystal, and we will use it to bring him down once and for all." The raven regarded her with a mixture of admiration and concern. "You are brave, Elena," he said, his voice tinged with respect. "But bravery alone will not be enough to defeat Lord Mordecai. We will need a plan, a strategy that will catch him off guard and give us the upper hand." Elena nodded, her mind already racing with possibilities. She knew that the road ahead would be fraught with danger, but she also knew that she could not turn back now. Nocturne City needed her, and she would not rest until she had rid it of Lord Mordecai's tyranny. With a determined glint in her eye, Elena turned to the raven, her voice firm. "Then let's get to work," she said. "Nocturne City won't save itself." And as they set off into the darkness, the echoes of their footsteps fading into the night, Elena knew that the battle for Nocturne City had only just begun. As Elena and the raven ventured deeper into the labyrinthine streets of Nocturne City, they faced countless trials and tribulations. They encountered danger at every turn, battling against Lord Mordecai minions and navigating treacherous traps laid in their path. But through sheer determination and unwavering courage, they persevered. With each step, they grew stronger, their bond forged in the crucible of adversity. And as they neared their goal, their resolve burned brighter than ever before. Finally, after countless hours of tireless searching, they found themselves standing before Lord Mordecai, a towering fortress of darkness that loomed over the city like a specter of doom. With a shared nod of determination, Elena and the raven prepared to face their greatest challenge yet. As they stormed the fortress, they were met with fierce resistance. Lord Mordecai minions fought tooth and nail to protect their master, but Elena and the raven were undeterred. With sword and sorcery, they battled their way through the ranks, their determination unyielding. At last, they reached the inner sanctum of the fortress, where Lord Mordecai awaited them, his eyes burning with malice. With a triumphant roar, he unleashed all of his dark power, but Elena and the raven stood firm, their spirits unbroken. In a final, epic showdown, they clashed with Lord Mordecai, their strength and resolve put to the ultimate test. But in the end, it was not brute force or dark magic that prevailed, it was the power of friendship, courage, and hope. With a mighty blow, Elena and the raven struck down Lord Mordecai, his dark reign of terror coming to an end at last. As the echoes of battle faded into the night, the people of Nocturne City emerged from their homes, their faces alight with joy and relief. Elena and the raven were hailed as heroes their names spoken with reverence and gratitude. And as they stood together amidst the cheers of the crowd, they knew that their journey was far from over. For though the darkness had been vanquished, the light of hope would continue to shine bright in Nocturne City, guiding its people toward a future filled with promise and possibility. And as Elena and the Raven looked out over the city they had fought so hard to save, they knew that they would always be bound together by the bonds of friendship and the promise of a better tomorrow.